All right, imagine this. You're not saying much. You're not trying too hard. You're not chasing, explaining, over-texting, over-giving energy, but somehow she's thinking about you more than the guy who's doing all of that. Ever wonder why that happens? Because attraction isn't always built in noise. Sometimes it's built in silence. And not the awkward kind. I'm talking about that calm, grounded, slightly mysterious silence that makes people lean in instead of pull away. And here's the part most people completely miss. They think attraction is about doing more. More jokes, more attention, more effort, more presence. But real attraction, it often spikes when you do less, but with intention. Let's be honest for a second. Most people ruin their chances early. Not because they're unattractive, not because they're boring, but because they overdo it. They try to secure interest instead of letting it build naturally. And when you do that, you don't create tension. You create predictability. And predictability kills curiosity. Now think about the last time someone actually stuck in your mind. It probably wasn't the person who was constantly available, constantly texting, constantly proving themselves. It was probably the one who made you wonder a little. Not confused, just curious. That's the difference. There's a silent move that changes everything here, and most people overlook it because it feels like doing nothing. But it's not nothing. It's controlled presence. It's when you're engaged, but not emotionally spilling everywhere. You listen more than you speak. And when you do speak, you don't rush to fill every gap in the conversation. You're comfortable letting a moment breathe. And that pause, that space, that's where attraction starts forming. Because people don't fall for what's obvious. They lean toward what they have to understand. You know what's interesting? A lot of people think confidence is loud, but real confidence is restraint. It's being able to say less, react less, and still hold presence in the room like you belong there without proving it. And women especially pick up on this instantly. Not in a she analyzed it logically way, more like an emotional read, a feeling. Like, this guy is not trying to impress me, but I'm still paying attention to him. Why? That question alone creates attraction. But here's where most people mess it up. They feel a good moment starting, a bit of chemistry, a bit of eye contact, a bit of laughter, and they rush it. They start escalating too fast. Too many compliments, too much availability, too much explaining themselves. And suddenly, the tension disappears because attraction needs space to grow. Without space, there's no pull. It's just contact. And contact alone isn't enough to create depth. So what's actually happening when you use this silent move? It's simple. You're not over-inserting yourself into every emotional gap. You're not trying to control how the other person feels about you. You're just existing in your own frame. Calm, present, slightly unpredictable in a grounded way. And people start leaning in because they can feel there's more to you than what you're showing. Let's make this real. Ever been around someone who doesn't overreact? They don't chase validation. They don't rush responses. They don't scramble to impress. And yet they still stand out. Why? Because they're not leaking insecurity into every interaction. And that's what most people don't realize. Attraction isn't only built by what you do, it's also built by what you don't do. You don't over-explain. You don't rush to fix silence. You don't fill every moment with nervous energy. You don't try to lock in someone's attention like it's a deal you're closing. Instead, you stay steady. And here's where it gets interesting. The moment you stop trying to earn attention, you actually become more noticeable. It's almost ironic. Because now the other person starts doing something different. They start observing you. They start testing little moments. They start trying to figure you out without you pushing for it. And that's where emotional pull begins. But let me be clear, this isn't about acting distant or playing games. That's where people go wrong. They hear, be less available, and suddenly they become cold, robotic, or detached. That's not attractive either. There's a difference between being unavailable and being centered. One is insecurity hiding as distance. The other is confidence with boundaries. Big difference. When you're centered, you're still warm. You still laugh. You still engage. But you're not dependent on the reaction. You're not adjusting your entire personality based on whether someone is giving you attention in that moment. And people feel that because emotional stability is rare, especially in early attraction stages, where most people are trying to win the other person instead of just connecting. Now think about this for a second. Have you ever noticed how the most memorable people in your life weren't the ones who tried the hardest to be memorable? They were just themselves. Calm. A little unpredictable in their responses. Not rushing, not forcing. That's what creates curiosity. And curiosity is the engine of attraction. Without it, everything falls flat. So if you take anything from this, it's this shift. Stop trying to constantly prove your value in real time. Instead, let your presence speak slowly. Let your energy settle instead of spill. Let moments breathe instead of filling every silence like it's dangerous. Because silence, when used right, isn't awkward. It's powerful. It creates space for the other person to feel you, not just hear you. And feeling is where attraction actually lives. So the next time you're talking to someone and you feel that urge to over-explain, to impress, to fill the gap, just pause for a second and ask yourself, am I trying to connect or am I trying to be chosen right now? Because one builds something real and the other just burns it out before it even begins. And honestly, once you learn how to stay in that calm, grounded space, you'll notice something shift. People don't just respond to you differently, they start thinking about you when you're not even around. And that's when you know the silent move is working.